Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tosh Customs, and today I wanted to do a really quick little overview of my ODST figure. It's really more ODST inspired than anything else, but um, I love Halo. I honestly haven't actually played any of the games, but the design language is so cool, and I've studied it a lot, and so I wanted to make a little sort of my little ODST inspired custom right here. I did this off of the SHF Taskmaster, and I made a Taskmaster video a while ago talking about how I wanted to improve the MCU design. And then I just kept on looking at the figure and I was like, man, this is so close to either a Spartan or like a standard ODST soldier. I should do something, you know? So I came up with this. So I wanted to go over it really briefly and just share my design ideas with you, and also just give a closer look at the helmet that I sculpted. So starting off with the helmet here, spent a lot of time getting the scuffing and all the little details in there. But little modular visor up here, obviously we painted it in gunmetal, got some scuffing. We have a little like white bluish light bar up there. The visor, I wasn't sure what color to make it, so I made it this little bit of like a pearl green and add some green glow to it. I wanted to make this feel my own, even though it is a bit Halo inspired. The helmet even has a little bit of like Halo Reach Carter in there. In terms of the mouth plate, I definitely took a little bit of inspiration from that while still trying to fit it into like the larger ODST visor there. I wanted to make these earphones look like actual ear protection, or like these side pieces of the helmet look like actual ear protection. So almost like how you take ear protection to like the shooting range, we almost have like a little speaker on the side here, or like a microphone on the side here to pick up outside noise. And then we also have these little bands that are running up the helmet, almost as if it's like the earmuffs that go over the head. So I thought that was pretty nice. Coming around to the back here, we have some more scuffing and some more little venting that you can see. You can see all the little notches across the top there. So some venting on throughout the helmet as well. Coming over to the torso of the figure, I made a lot of modifications since the Taskmaster video. So the old Taskmaster video, I had a rib cage painted across. That was about it. And I was looking at that, and like after some time, the rib cage eventually started feeling a bit tacky. So I ended up painting over it again with that blue black like Angelus leather paint, and mixing a little chrome silver and gunmetal in there to get this really nice weathered blue color. Painted all of that over, and then I added some pouches, some grenades, and then originally for the Taskmaster figure, I had done some modifications where I added a breathing tube up to the original Taskmaster helmet, so it felt a little bit sort of fighter pilot, or like some spare oxygen for some like hazmat bio weapon type deal. In this iteration, I removed that obviously, and instead I just made a tube coming around the side and plugging into the backpack there. I really like that look. Functionally, I don't know much of what it does, but maybe it is some kind of air filter that runs to his back still. Who knows? But I do like the still sort of pilot aesthetic to all of it, even if it doesn't necessarily function directly up to the helmet. These nades here, they were pulled off of a G.I. Joe. What was it? I think it was I think it was just the one of the robot vipers, whatever they're called, the bats. There we go. I think it's pulled off one of the bats, and then just painted the bottom little band there in yellow, and then hit it with some olive green or military green, and then dry brush some black over it to just get that weathering look. This shoulder pad here is from DTG Figures. I swapped from the Taskmaster video, I swapped the color palette. So this band up top here used to be blue, swapped it to gunmetal, and then swapped this larger portion to blue, so that actually fits with the majority of the color scheme here. I also sculpted these two shoulder, sort of like over the shoulder clips that connect to the backpack I just wanted to make that connection make a little more sense. We have some straps running across the bottom that kind of go to the backpack, but to the most part, it just looks like the backpack is just somehow magnetically stuck. So I figured these little shoulder bits, they feel a little halo, and they help make a little more sense in terms of how it connects from the back to the chest plate and the rest of the gear there. On top of that, painted in some little caution lines here, up across the gun here as well. I don't have any on the legs, but still very Reach inspired in terms of how the Reach Spartans, they have it across that little line, like that little armor edge on their boots. I wanted to adapt a little bit of that in there as well. Coming around to the back, since we're still kind of up here on the torso, I added this grenade launcher, this sort of miniature mortar launcher. I like the idea of this guy being able to have some little mini armaments to help cover a longer range or even maybe blast people out of cover. So we have some grenades that can load in here on a little belt. And then this whole little launcher bit is taken from the spear launcher from, I think it's Lady J from the Classified series. And then obviously I painted it with the classic military shark. It's painted on both sides there, as you can see. And then I actually had this suppressor from an old gun, and it fit perfectly in. So it helps act as a little tube and a little covering, so it's not just like a flat face hole going through it. So you can still see through it, but the overall gap is a lot smaller. So I like that a lot. Coming down to the arms now, I moved the arm, I guess the arm blaster, the arm pistol, whatever you want to call this, Deadshot's arm gun. I moved it over from the left side to the right side. Originally for Taskmaster, I was going for this ambidextrous look where I was mixing melee and firearms on both sides so that he was a little bit independent. His right and left arms were independent and could fight close and long range. But I just realized that for a soldier, if his primary arm is the right arm, everything should be kind of loaded onto the right arm. So he's got this as, maybe there's 8 rounds, 10 rounds, loaded in here. And this is like the spare of all spares in terms of firepower. So he runs out of everything. He runs out of his sidearm. You have a couple spare there. I was wondering how, functionally something like this would work. And I was thinking, oh, I need a little bit of power to it probably. So I sculpted in some little wiring here that would run up the rest of the arm. It would run up into the costume probably, and get into the backpack, which maybe is a power supply. So I put that on that side there. I really like that. And functionally it makes sense that it runs up the sleeve, because you can see this elbow area is actually much thinner than the rest of this arm going up. And so it seems like there's a bigger sleeve and a cuff up here. So it sort of makes sense that your wire would be exposed as it runs to the gun here, and then it would be slid up into the rest of the sleeve. So pop that in there. I added some little power cords on the other side too. We have a yellow and red one on this side as well. Running to his heavier gauntlet, which this is a completely new sculpt. I wanted to adapt sort of the Halo Reach bracer a little bit, but I also wanted to make it more functional for this character. And so originally I was just going to have a big old bracer. It's just a shield. He can be sitting here gunfighting and maybe block a couple bullets, something like that, cover his face a bit. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, it would be really cool if he sort of like in Halo Infinite, he had that like super ground pound punch type deal, which isn't really ODST. But as I was thinking about that and iterating on that idea, I figured that, I should maintain what I did from the first Taskmaster, which was a custom little port in the arm that can hold a blade. And that gives him some really fun melee capabilities, because he can be fighting like this. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Someone runs up close to him. Arm blade out. Stab. So, what did I do? I'm grabbing it. I took the arm blade I took one of the, what is it, Mantis blades from that, I forget what G.I. Joe figure she is. She's a classified figure. But I basically cut it down, sanded a little fixed peg here, like so, little tiered ridge, and now it plugs into the arm, just like that. It's very secure too. As you see, I can kind of shove it out, but it won't fall out on its own. It's quite a good connection. So he's got an arm blade now, and I put a little reflective blue purple on that, which I think looks really nice. So that's another fun addition. A little bit of an assassin's blade maybe. But I think that fits really well and works with the aesthetic. I like the idea, even of like old, like really old World Wars, like shields with the little spikes on them. So kind of like that, where you could, where you could cut someone with your shield, maybe if it was crafted the right way. We see some of that kind of stuff, maybe like fantasy Lord of the Rings, but even Viking shields sometimes had spikes on them. So something like that, we have a little bit of a heavier arm overall, eating a lot of damage, providing some of that extra protection, and then we have this blade here if someone gets too close to him. So really like that idea. Coming down to the belt now. I think some stuff switched up from the Taskmaster. We have these pistol mags here. They've been detailed with a little bit of this chrome silver on the little latches, or the little button latches here, and then also the mags on the inside got painted with some gunmetal to keep consistent. Looping around to the back, I also sculpted this, I guess tether wouldn't be the right word. It's just a spool of cord that he could use to rappel up and down stuff. Something simple I sculpted in Blender, but I really like that. It just adds a little more functionality to him, and I like the idea of this guy maybe needing a little recon or repelling purposes. He's got a little extra there in his toolkit for it. Coming down to the leg holster, nothing's changed here. The pistol is still the suppressed pistol from the that SCP Has-Op figure, so nothing new there in terms of paint application. However, I did repaint the Taskmaster revolver because I thought it would be fun. I took a little bit of a Destiny-inspired look here. We have this really bright chrome revolver with this red racing stripe running down it. The barrel of the gun has been painted and a little bit of gold there, and you can see there's a little red laser mounted on top. So fun little thing there, just for kicks. Now coming down to the rest of the legs here, nothing new has really been done, but just really mixed up the color patterning and stuff. We have a little bit of some red stripes here. Once again, inspired just a little bit by Carter. I liked the weathered red against the blue, so I wanted to keep that. Something else I was noticing is that this whole knee pad used to be blue here, and I was looking at the rest of the color differentiation across the armor, and it's always that you have a blue pad stacked on top of like a gunmetal pad, as you can see here in the legs. Blue stacked up over gunmetal, blue stacked here up over gunmetal. Even like up on the arms here, I had a blue stacked up over gunmetal. I also sculpted a little loop clip right here, and then, sorry, speaking of repelling, a little loop right here on the belt as well, so he can fit his cord through there. Now coming back to the legs, so realizing that I had to make the knee pads match, so the front facing is now blue, and then we've matched the gunmetal on the rest of the figure, and so we have blue now sitting over gunmetal, continuing with the chrome connector latches. And then coming down to the boots here, I did sculpt some new little padding. So before, it was just like this guy was wearing some tennis shoes, or some running shoes with like a little bit of metal plating on top, which is totally fine. But considering this, I wanted this guy to be a little bit heavier. I needed his feet to feel a little bit heavier. So what I did here was I sculpted these little boot grips up on the front of the toe here. Then obviously painted them in the metallic blue that all the rest of the armors has been getting treated with. So Now it just adds a little visual weight to the toes. It keeps the color scheme going down to the boots. We have it up on the heel here. And honestly, I don't know why I did this red here. It made it feel like a bit of a Nike shoe, and I kind of liked that. I liked him feeling a little sporty, a little athletic in there. And maybe he just needs a little bit of his personal style. He's got to show off the drip a little bit. So who knows? But I put the red in there. That might not stay. Always room for improvement and change here. The last thing I wanted to show off, and you've probably been seeing it, I wanted to differentiate the patterns across the figure in terms of materials, because I noticed that even down here, right, you can see we have this textured sort of Kevlar patterning running across the upper legs here, the thighs and the pants. And then once it passes the knee, that texture doesn't continue. So I realized that, oh, between here and then the boot, we have a few different materials here. We have like 1, 2, and then, I assume the boot is a third material here, unless it's just like a super high boot. So since we have a couple different materials, I want to differentiate them more. So I painted in this camo, this gray camo, all across the textured areas of the figure. So we have it running here, up the legs, all the way around the back here. It's painted all up here into the torso. You can see it around the bottom of the backpack. You can see it here, up on the sides, right here, running up the torso. And then we also have it all up here on the arms. And then the material changes right when you get the gloves on the forearms here. So painted camo all the way around. I like this camo bodysuit that's sitting underneath everything. So just another cool little detail. My goal for this guy, as always, is to make a little mini Hot Toys, but I wanted to hit every detail that I possibly could, and I think that shows out through here. We have the little lights up on the shoulders, the light on the helmet, some little lights up on the abdomen section here. I mean, we have all the little oxygen tank color grading across the green to the yellow to the orange to the red. I mean, everything has been painted. Everything's been hit with scuffing all around, all these little scratch marks that you can see on the armor, all painted in, all our little hazard symbols, all our little warning signs, all the little decals and details I wanted to have painted in to make sure this guy felt as real and as grimy and as tactical as possible. So there you go. Just a little overview of what I've been doing, what I've been cooking up here. I really like this helmet. Let me know if you do too. Maybe I'll sculpt more in the future, but this was much more of like a little personal thing that I just wanted to show off. And I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I think the figure turned out great. Obviously it's SHF, so it's a little smaller. It doesn't quite fit in like with the Joes. The Joes are just taller by a bit, but still looks great. And I was still able to pack a ton of detail into a really tiny frame. So very happy overall. Thanks for checking this out. Thanks for watching. Also, I'm just recording up against my computer monitor, and I kind of like this look. It's nice, clean, and modern. So maybe this is where we go for 2025. Let me know in the comments. Thank you all again for watching, and I'll catch you later. Take care.